Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining in. I can see a lot of participants who've just made it on time. I think that's one incredible achievement we've been able to achieve so far. So I have three wonderful ladies with me, and I'll give a quick introduction and also discuss about how this discussion will flow. We'll take in all the Q&A at the end, and I'm happy to answer anybody's questions if they come up to me. So this webinar is majorly focused on tips on how to bond with your child. It is sponsored by Purple Turtle. This is the first Indian IP that has books in more than 25 countries. The character that you see behind my screen, we started it around 5 years back, is focused on preschool education and has run around 14 preschool franchises across India and Nepal. Our focus has been to give the best curriculum education to anybody in the world, and hence we usually have US, UK authors on board who do the curriculum for us, planners for us, and even books. Um, Now we also have a TV show which is on Discovery Kids in Middle East and Northern Africa. That is a co-production with the ex-president of Walt Disney, France. Their company name is Cyber Group Studios, and a co-production with Telegale in Ireland. So basically, Ireland, France, India, and US came together to make this wonderful edutainment show for children. And now it is being broadcasted on MX Player in India. And we are going to launch our own TV channel on GeoTV. So that's the background that we bring to you. That's the expertise we bring on board. And obviously, hence is the panelist with us. So I'm going to start with Miss Benita. She's a journalist and children's author. Benita Sen is a trained educationist. She is in this webinar because she has gathered decades of experience with children. She's an MA in literature and a trained postgraduate teacher. She has done a course in corporate communications. Besides being a journalist and award winning children's author, she's a resource person for parents, teachers, and students on various topics, including life skills, values, and the environment. I personally know her for years now, and I know the expertise she brings on board. And I'm just too proud to have her with us today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ankita.
The next on board is Miss Patricia. Patricia D'Souza has been sub-editor of Chanda Mama and also Eurobooks, which we all fondly remember. She has freelanced for various publications and developed activity books. She's a parent too of a young girl, currently a resident of Nilgiris in Tamil Nadu. Except that this is a wonderful location, she has been associated with Purple Turtle for more than a decade now. The expertise she brings on board is wonderful editorial as well as written capabilities that I think have enhanced our books and various publishers' books. So just thank you, ma'am, for being on board. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
we'll learn.
Thank you, Ankita ji. Thank you for having me.
Third on board is our very own Sudeshna. So Sudeshna Banerjee has been an editor with Aadarsh and now Aadarsh Technosoft for years now. Is a language expert, BA in English Literature Honors from Calcutta University. She's a Kulapati awardee at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Kolkata. Has worked several years in print and publishing. Is now engaged in developing content focused on children's language and literacy skills. I personally know Sudeshna for being a perfectionist. She's one person who will do her R&D and won't let a word go wrong until unless she agrees. I don't think anything can go for print. And this kind of expertise, perfectionism, and just so much devotion to the content she writes, that also shows in the kind of education we are providing children. And I think children is one position where nobody wants to mess with, and that is why having a perfectionist on board makes so much sense. So now our focus is on tips on how we are going to bond with your child or any queries that you have. I'm sure there are a lot of question and answers. So how this is structured, Miss Benita is going to discuss about overall tips that she has, and she would like to go in on a discussion with Sudeshna on certain topics, how we can resolve issues that parents might be having with the child and how they can be engaged on a daily basis. Patricia ji is an expert with us and would like to talk about products that she has reviewed and personally finds would be beneficial to engage with the child. So over to you, Benita ji. I'm sure I have taken a lot of time, which the participants are not interested in knowing. So over to you to the important stuff.
Thank you so much, Ankita. It's such a pleasure being associated with Purple Turtle. For all our viewers and listeners, I have been with so many brands, children's brands, and I don't hesitate to say that Purple Turtle has been, I'm here today because I find it a very assertive, positive brand. You know, you see the way Purple Turtles, you see the picturization, that in itself, the body language, the bonding with the friends, it's just amazing. There's this camaraderie, the confidence. So that's why I'm here. Thank you for having me here with you. We can start the first slide, please. So we are here to discuss bonding. That's something, there's nothing new I'm going to say. It's just a reiteration. It's just a recap of what we all know. But in the humdrum day-to-day life, sometimes we overlook. So how do you bond with your child? We all know how to. Actually, deep in our hearts, we know how to. Next, please. The history of the word bonding and the thought. Now, when I started working on this project, I started researching, and the word bond, it says, goes back to the 13th century. That's a long time, and it has lasted. Now, that in itself says a lot about the concept and the word. It means anything that binds, fastens, or, watch out, confines. Now, if you're looking at my nose and wondering what's happened, I think that's my nose is an example of the confining part, because I had a tiny little pimple on the nose, and I'm very firm about wearing a mask. And the mask and the pimple didn't bond together very well. As a result, the pimple protested, and now I have to have a bandage. So to stop that bonding. So that is where we have to, as parents or grandparents or teachers, we need to step in and see that we don't overbond. We don't confine the other person. It's not just your child, it's also your partner, it's your friend, it's your pet. I mean, if you're a dog and a cat person, most likely that the dog pet will like to cuddle more with you. The cat pet, no. I mean, they're very firm in the way they sort of brush you aside with those claws at the end of the paws. So each one of us is different, and each of us has to see where the binds and fastens ends and where the confines come in. Remember that last word. It can get stifling, and it's best avoided. We focus today and in life on the bond that unites. Now, the classic case of bond is the laminate story. We all use laminates, plywood, whatever, in our day-to-day lives. Our homes are full of them. And those are just layers and layers that are put together and under certain conditions, ideal conditions, and then they stay together. Sometimes when external influences come in, say water or moisture or too much of heat, then the bonds can weaken. Not surprising that from the 1670s, the word bond has been used in the term of method of laying bricks in courses. Isn't that so true of life bonding also? We are laying foundation stones, we are laying bricks that will be bonded. If you don't cement those bricks together well enough, you know what will happen. So we need to provide that cement to the child. Of course, from 1900, it has been used in chemistry. Example, the bond of atoms. If the bond is not correct, the whole thing changes, the chemical composition. Next, please. Why do we need to bond? Well, that's a no-brainer. Bonding is intrinsic to all living beings, whether it is plants or whether it is animals, and of course humans. We often forget we are also animal kingdom, but it's very important to all of us. We all need to bond because we are in some way social creatures. Bonding helps a parent to feel connected with the child, and more importantly, it is important to the child to feel connected to the parent. There are many instances, and they're growing by the day, where the child realizes that the bond is not strong enough. And the development and growth of the child and the reaction of the child are something we don't really want. The effects of the bonding are seen not just in the physical growth of the child, but also in the psychological growth of the child. Next, please. There's been a study. Now, this talk that I'm giving is short, but it's full of researched studies on bonding. There is this, Taisha has reported a pathology in children who suffered neglect. Neglect equals lack of bonding, an extreme form of insecure attachment in their early years. One, it reduces growth in the left hemisphere of the brain, which may lead to associated depression. So a well-bonded child will probably be a happier child, a more contented child, more well-adjusted child. It increases sensitivity in the limbic system, which can lead to anxiety disorders. Again, the same thing. If the child has bonded well with the parents, firstly, and then the rest of the family, then these anxiety issues may never come up or may be marginalized. The contrary is just as true. Reduced growth in the hippocampus could contribute to learning and memory impairments. Scientists have been studying this to see that a well-bonded, emotionally stable child learns faster, learns better, learns happier. Sudeshna, would you agree there in any way as the as an editor?
Yes, thank you so much, madam, for elaborating on those important points. So, hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining our webinar today. So, I would like to add that we work for Aadarsh, and our team is very passionate about children's education, and we're always looking out for new ways to help parents and teachers. So, about bonding, I cannot ever emphasize enough how important the power of bonding is in children's development and overall well-being. So even before we start any kind of communication with anyone, building a rapport, developing a connection comes first. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's true. Whatever you said, the benefits of bonding are endless. And as we can see in your presentation, it's all backed by science. And I also think that children should learn how to develop social bonds themselves, right? So this will be good for their overall personality development, and also for developing strong interpersonal skills that they're going to need in future. In that context, I wonder if any one of you have read the story Purple Turtle meets Sing. Have you read the story Purple Turtle meets Sing?
Yes. It's a
Yeah,
very
the
cute story. Very cute. Yeah. Hmm.
yes. So the story shows how bonding with others
Hmm.
can help you overcome your fears, your limitations. So can we see some pages of the story?
Hmm.
Oh, going to share the screen. वो पर्पल मीट जिंग का कुछ पेजेस देखना शेयर कीजिए.
Also, I think we have some Hindi audience as well. So if we
Oh,
can,
sure.
हाँ,
हाँ,
थोड़ा
जरूर.
सा हम हिंदी में बात करेंगे.
हाँ,
तो
जरूर.
हाँ.
perfect. Nisha, can we see some pages of Purple Meat Sing? Or else Sudeshna can explain the story.
Yes, in this story, Zing is a rabbit. So he is afraid of making new friends because he stammers a lot. कभी-कभी काफी बच्चों को प्रॉब्लम होता है स्टैमरिंग करते हैं तो they think they are different, they have some limitations, so they cannot reach out to other children and they cannot bond well, they cannot develop social bonds. तो कुछ limitations ऐसे होते हैं. तो ऐसे stories के माध्यम से हमने दिखाया पर्पल मीट जिंग में जो story है कि when Zing the rabbit meets Purple Turtle, Purple Turtle encourages him to sing. वो बोलते हैं बताते हैं कि अगर आपको बोलने में स्टैमरिंग होती है तो why don't you sing us a song? And when Zing the rabbit sings, he sings the most amazing song ever.
Yes.
तो
Sudeshna, this is true. I have what you have said is not just a story, and that's what I love about this Purple Turtle's persona. This is actually based on I don't know if it's based on it, but there is an incident where in a reality show somebody who stammers has come up and sung so beautifully. Yes. So can we go on to the next slide, please? The foster home story. Now, foster homes, we all know, are trying to link a homeless child with the concept of a home. The pathways needed for normal human experiences may be lost in that kind of a situation. This is often referred to as the use it or lose it principle. So, the more you love, the more you seem to have the capacity to love. Use it or lose it. There are tragic cases of feral children, so called feral. I would not call them, but this is taken from a study that's where homeless children who have survived with minimal human contact. And this illustrates the severe lack of language and emotional development in the absence of this bonding or love, language, and attention. So, yeah, could we go on to the next, please? When does bonding begin? Bonding, this is metaphysics. I mean, is that child in your thoughts? Or is that child there bonding with you when the mother has conceived the child? Bonding happens even before birth. Studies show what we have been saying for centuries: a baby recognizing your voice, even prenatal. There are good old films, the world of films. Of course, we have such incidents, and of course, we've got the story of Abhimanyu to fall back on. It has been there in our, as I was saying, I'm not saying anything new today. We are just culling out the relevant references. Abhimanyu's story, if anybody is not too sure of it, we can go back to it after this. The next, please. What does bonding do? Bonding gives you physical and emotional health. It creates a sense of identity. As I was saying, Purple Turtle's body language, that and the presence with the friends, there is no threat. There is no falling or fawning over somebody. It's a very comfortable range zone that you create. That is what bonding does. You then go on to the next step, that is to nurture talent. You keep the child emotionally invested in the family, and you reduce, this for me is very important, you reduce teenage stress. So many parents have asked me, how do we make our the teen years more enjoyable for the child? One answer I have is, if you have raised a reading child, the teenage years should not be much of an issue. But that we can come to later on. We can all, we request you to send in your topics so that we can address them one at a time. One of them that I have been talking a lot about is how to raise a reading child. So this kind of bonding is, a lot of it is through doing things together, nurturing. We are reading these words again and again. Maybe the next one, please. When and how to start bonding. It is never too early, never too late. If you feel that there has been a slight lapse in the bonding, never mind, don't give up now. It's never too late to start bonding, and never too late to continue bonding. Bonding can, we see in other relationships also, we meet a person on the road and get talking. I mean, that is a kind of bonding. And then maybe you realize that person lives in your neighborhood, and you've both been feeding, this happens a lot with me, you've both been feeding homeless dogs, and then you bond over that. That bond is very strong. There is an emotional connect. So when the heart, it's not always head, when the heart connects, whatever your age may be, she or he may be in his 20s, and here I am, a senior citizen, and we can bond. So when and how is a question, actually it's a no-brainer. You can keep bonding. Next one, please.
Ma'am, Hindi.
हाँ, थैंक यू. तो इसमें कोई झिझक की बात ही नहीं है कि एनी टाइम कभी भी हम किसी के साथ बॉन्ड कर सकते हैं, और ये जो हमारा रिश्ता है वो उसको और स्ट्रॉन्ग बना सकते हैं. और ये सिर्फ आज हम पेरेंट्स और चिल्ड्रन की बात कर रहे हैं, पर एक्चुअली ये किसी के साथ भी. अब वी हैड अ टीचर, we used to call her, you know how children are, they give teachers such awful names, so I'm not going to tell you what name we gave her, but she used to teach us biology. और वो कहती थी कि उनका रिश्ता बहुत खास रिश्ता है उनके प्लांट्स के साथ. तब के ज़माने में, मैं 1970s की बात कर रही हूँ, 80s, मे बी अर्ली 80s, हाँ 1970s. तो उन्होंने अपने घर में एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया. 5 गमले अपने कमरे में रखा, विंडो सिल पे, और 5 बाहर. और कहती थी कि शी यूज्ड टू टॉक टू देम, द वंस ऑन इन हर रूम, एवरी डे. पानी दोनों लॉट को मिलता था, वो खुद देती थी, पर जो बॉन्डिंग वाला टाइम स्पेंड करना, टॉकिंग टू देम, टेकिंग ऑफ येलोइंग लीफ, वो खुद सिर्फ ये 5 जो उनके कमरे में है उसके साथ करती थी. एंड शी सेड, यू वोंट बिलीव इट, दे आर फेसिंग द सेम डायरेक्शन ऑफ द सन, पर जो मेरे कमरे में है उनका ग्रोथ देखो, और बाहर वाले 5 पौधों का ग्रोथ देखो. आपको पता चलेगा बॉन्डिंग का अहमियत क्या है. It's so important to bond, and with sincerity. If that sincerity is not there, we cannot bond. These findings have been backed up by cases of extreme neglect and outcomes of children raised in Romanian orphanages. Rutter et al. Studied the development of children adopted from Romanian orphanages who were adopted into loving families at different ages. When each child was 6 years old, the researchers assessed what proportion of these adopted children was functioning normally. They found 69% of the children adopted before 6 months of age. Then you see it drops from 69 to 43 of children adopted between 7 months and 2 years. And only 22% of the children adopted between the ages of 2 years and 3.5 years were functioning normally. So the earlier you start bonding, of course, with your child, the better. But of course, there is nothing to tell you, okay, now the child is 5, I don't bother to start bonding. Next, please. How to bond. ये तो, I don't know why I even have this slide. ये हमें सबको पता है. It comes naturally to living beings. So all we have to do is आंख बंद करके सोचिए, बॉन्ड कैसे किया था आपके नानी ने आपके साथ, आपके दादी ने आपके साथ, आपके पेरेंट्स आपके साथ. There's nothing about parenting that is suddenly new. ये तो सदियों से हो रहा है. So we know instinctively how to bond. It's just that we are now in a very different family setup, very different society. तो हमें कभी-कभी doubt हो जाता है. Doubt मत करना. Go by your instinct, read and do things together. The most important ingredient in bonding is emotional love. दिल से, not material love. चीजों से नहीं. एक टेडी बेयर हम नहीं दे पाए, बच्ची बहुत रोई, हम सोचते हैं we have failed as parents. Have we? I don't think so. Not totally. But if I could have given her a cuddle and maybe tried to explain why I couldn't give her that teddy bear, it has happened in my life. I don't know if any of you have worn those, you all are so young. वो एक शू ब्रांड था, जूता है या लाइट. And I think Kapil Dev used to advertise for that, जूता है या लाइट, जूते में है लाइट, and the blinkers used to go on. So this kid wanted that juta hai ya light, and it was, to us, it was very expensive in those days. So of course, peer pressure to hota hi hai. Parents, as parents, we are always fighting peer pressure. मेरे friend, मेरे best friend के पास वो shoe है, मेरे पास क्यों नहीं है? तो I actually sat the child down and told her, explained basics of money to her, कि आज हमारे पास इसके लिए पैसे नहीं है, अगर होगा तुम्हें वो शूज मिल जाएंगे, पर जो पैसे हैं उससे जो बहुत जरूरी है, तुम्हारा खाना, तुम्हारा स्कूल, वो हम आपको देंगे. We will not deprive you of that. And that child calmed down after that. She understood. हाँ, उसको चुभता होगा कि मेरे best friend, that best friend was very well off. वो हमें याद है, और ये इंसिडेंट भी याद है, क्योंकि मुझे भी बहुत पेन हुआ था कि I can't give her that जूता है या लाइट. Anyway, but material love, चीजों से प्यार is not so important. So if you are trying to show your love by giving things and more things to your child, maybe you stop. Let the child ask for it. Then if you can afford it, you can give it. Time. Be there in person as much as possible. हमें बोला जाता था कि quality time parenting is more important than quantity time parenting. I have my doubts. दोनों को balance करना ही है. A child is too innocent to understand quality time parenting. कुछ तो quantity time भी parenting में होना चाहिए. अच्छा, how to bond? Play together, talk, sing, or solve problems such as puzzles together. Tellingly, the stronger the brain-to-brain synchrony, the more problems parents and children can solve. तो अगर आपका bonding अच्छा है, तो वो जो puzzles आप as a family solve करते हो, that has a lot of, it goes beyond a puzzle. It's actually a family activity.
Ma'am, we have a lot of questions coming in and we would like to
Sure.
take them up. So,
Sure. I think we just run through the
yes,
next, please.
yes.
These are just studies that say whatever we have been saying. Next, please. Conclusion: lifelong insurance. Bonding is a lifelong insurance. Okay. So I think we can take the questions after this. Ankita, would you suggest that?
Yes, yes, yes. So I think I can push in the questions and I'm happy if whoever wants to take them up.
Yes, of course.
So a lot of parents have queries. I've found a pattern that they have queries according to their child. So one parent, Prashantji, has a question that my child is stubborn. So how to handle? Then another one has my child is shy. So how should I handle? And the third one is when my child is hyperactive.
Hmm.
How should I? So tips, different tips for three.
Hmm.
One who's hyperactive, one who's shy, and one who's stubborn. So
Shy. I'll take the shy one
okay,
first,
okay.
if I may. And Patricia, whenever you want to come in, please. I'd welcome your comments. Shy
Sure.
because I was a shy child, very shy. Now looking at myself, I know why I was shy. I was sort of wary of being compared. I was sort of wary of being assessed. Even today, before I send a manuscript to an editor, I will think 10 times, 15 times. मैंने अभी तक 50, 60, 70 books लिखे हैं, पर I cannot send. I'm shy of sending क्योंकि मुझे डर है कहीं rejection का. I'm comfortable with who I am. मेरे को और किसी का वो नहीं चाहिए कि I'm whatever, good, bad, indifferent. So shy is also part of nature. There is nothing wrong in being shy as long as it's not becoming an obsessive shyness. Because your child must be doing other things in a group. I think this was Manishji's question. So your child will be doing, if you think that your child is suffering in those activities, then maybe you should worry. Otherwise, maybe your child will be blabbering like I am blabbering now when she grows up a little more. Patricia, over to you if you want to.
I would like to answer this question where Arushi Gaur has asked, I'm a mother of a 3.5 years old girl. How do I inculcate reading habits in her? So, firstly, I would like to say is that it's a correct age to start. And I think the best way to start is, take any part of the day, maybe morning or before bed, and sit down with her, lie down with her, pick up a book. Now, the market is full of books. So, what kind of book do you pick up is very important. So, firstly, I think it should be age appropriate. So, don't pick up a book which is for a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. So, you can try Purple Turtle Graded Readers. There are 36 books, 3 levels, and very appropriate for this age group between 3 to 6. And the book slowly develops, level by level. So what is important when you start reading is that the story is simple, the child can understand. There's an element of surprise and a constant element of surprise because children this age want something exciting, something surprising. So Purple is such an interesting character and he's always trying to discover something and he's full of excitement, so your child is going to like that. So the book is very important, the content is very important, the storyline is very important. It won't happen in a month or two. You'll have to sit your child down every day and read to your child. You can't expect her, to remind you of her to read. So you sit down every day and you begin reading, and you will be amazed to see within a year or two, your child is actually reading herself. So the interest has to be created by the parent.
Very true. In fact, to all parents and especially to Arushi Gaur, I did mention this point earlier. If you want a separate session on how to lead your child into reading, please let us know in the chat, and we will, or anything else you want, please do feed us the topics, and we will see which are the more in demand topics and try and rise to the occasion. There was another question. Stubborn? Anonymous.
Yes, yes. There's stubborn and there's one hyperactive child also.
All right. So hyperactive. Now hyperactive. I have, from the articles I have researched and written as a journalist, I have been told by child counselors that it could be a very intelligent brain. Also, it could be a bored brain. Another third thing is diet and hyperactive children. Just check if the child is getting too much of sodium, salt. That has been known to increase that level of activity. Nothing to worry about like that unless the school starts reporting. Has the school reported anonymous attendee that they can't handle your child?
Sometimes hyperactivity is good also. Like
Yes.
it can be taken in the right direction.
Exactly. It is a very intelligent child, perhaps very active child, energetic child. So what I had suggested to this one lady was that when she came to our house, I would be like, because her child was so active, so hyperactive. So she cut back on the salt. The child used to eat a lot of these packeted, salted snacks. She cut back on that, and then we suggested that she put her child in something like physical, like karate. And for hours after that, she found her child much more calm. So is your child getting enough of that kind of activity outside the house?
One question that I've seen 2-3 parents asking is about stubborn childs who want one thing at any cost, do not want a no for an answer. So, any comments on that? Patricia ji, you want to take this up?
You know, I've noticed one thing that children tend to get be really be stubborn and want to have their way when parents constantly deny them everything. When everything is a no, your child becomes more stubborn. So you give your child some liberty, and you need to understand that their way of thinking and your way of thinking is poles apart. So sometimes give in to your child if it is reasonable, and you'll realize that if they're having at least 20% of their way in a day, that stubbornness decreases. Benita ma'am, what do you think about that? I mean, that's my observation.
Patricia, it brings me to my own childhood, where my mother had told me, I'm not from a very well-to-do family. And I remember distinctly, I must have been 3, 4, she had told me, if you want something, you don't have to cry and scream about it. You can tell me in a normal voice. And she said this in a very calm, level voice. She didn't scream at me and say it. 1-to-1, she told me. She said, if you shout, if you throw a tantrum, I'm not going to listen to you.
I think this is a very good point. You want to take this up in Hindi as well?
हाँ, तो थैंक यू. तो ये जो केस स्टडी है, ये मेरे जिंदगी से है. हालांकि वो जमाना कुछ और ही था 50 साल पहले, पर शायद इंसान एक ही होता है. मतलब 50 साल में भी इतना हम बदलते नहीं है. मैं जब छोटी थी, 3-4 साल की थी, मुझे क्लियरली याद है, मेरी मम्मी ने बोला कि तुम्हें चिल्लाने चीखने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. कुछ चाहिए तो तुम मेरे को रिक्वेस्ट करके प्लीज बोल के बोलो कि मे आई हैव दिस, मुझे वो स्वेटर चाहिए, मुझे ये टॉफी चाहिए. तो क्योंकि अगर तुम चिल्लाओगी तो मैं कमरे से चली जाऊंगी, मैं सुनूंगी नहीं. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू लिसन टू यू. पर अगर तुम मेरी ऐसी आवाज में शांत होके बोल सकती हो कि मम्मी प्लीज मे आई हैव दैट, मैं सोचूंगी। अगर मैं दे सकती हूँ, अगर मुझे लगता है कि यू डिजर्व इट, यू नीड इट, वो तुम्हारे लिए ठीक है, जरूर मैं दूंगी। और इसका उल्टा भी एक बार हुआ। कोई मेरे फादर से कुछ पूछ रहे थे और मेरे फादर ने बोला मेरी जिंदगी में बहुत बड़ा दुख है, मेरे घर से कोई फ्रिज से कोई चॉकलेट नहीं चुराता है। मैं आई वॉज द ओनली चाइल्ड, तो कोई मतलब मैं ही थी। तो मेरे फादर ने बोला मुझे ना ऐसे बेटी चाहिए था जो चॉकलेट चुराए। और मैं उनको देख के सोच रही थी मैं चॉकलेट चुराऊं क्यों, मेरे फ्रिज में तो है, वो तो मेरे लिए ही है, चुराने की जरूरत नहीं है। जो पट्रिशा बोल रही थी कि कुछ हद तक दे दीजिए पहले, अगर आपको लगे कि वो चीज अच्छा है बच्चे के लिए चाहिए, एंड देन मे बी दोस tantrums will not take place. However, as a parent or as a grandparent, I will never want to encourage anybody to give something that is harmful for the child. आज हम जानते हैं कि स्वीट्स ज़्यादा नहीं खाना चाहिए, तो अगर आपके बच्चे बहुत ज़्यादा स्वीट्स मांग रहे हैं, खा रहे हैं, तो यू एज द पेरेंट हैव टू डू द पुलिसिंग। एक हमारा लास्ट स्लाइड इसमें है, आई डोंट नो इफ आई हैव टाइम टू शेयर, नारायण मूर्ति, जहां उन्होंने कहा बी अ पेरेंट टू योर चाइल्ड। आप अपने चाइल्ड का फ्रेंड बनने की कोशिश भी मत करो। फ्रेंड्स उसको जिंदगी में बहुत सारे मिल जाएंगे, पर पेरेंट, मदर एक, फादर एक, दैट्स इट। देयर इज नो ऑल्टरनेटिव टू पेरेंटिंग। एक प्रिंसिपल ऑफ अ स्कूल मेरे को बोला था कि एवरी चाइल्ड वांट्स अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ डिसिप्लिन इन देयर लाइफ। वो दे विल मेक अ फेस व्हेन यू से सिट डाउन, डोंट जंप अराउंड, पर कहीं ना कहीं डिसिप्लिन अगर कोई नहीं करा रहा है तो बच्चे में भी एक बेचैनी सा हो जाता है। आई होप दैट आंसर्स द क्वेश्चन।
One question for Sudeshna. Sudeshna, we have 2, 3 parents here talking about the COVID situation. That due to COVID, their child have been at home for years now and are unable to communicate with outsiders, are unable to communicate with their friends, and they are unable to read because their classroom has been nowhere. So, would you like to talk about how they can actually start talking, maybe reading, or maybe just communicating with their friends? How talking books can actually help in this whole concept?
Yes, Ankita, actually we have
You can be a
many.
little more louder. Go ahead. So, Desha, you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, we have many wonderful programs at purpleturtle.com. We have some animated videos, we have songs and nursery rhymes. As कुछ time पहले हम बात कर रहे थे कि children, some we were talking about some hyperactive children. So this is very natural that children while sitting at home they have a lot of energy, they need to take it out somewhere. तो हमारे animated videos और songs और काफी सारे हैं जिसमें वो बच्चे sing along करके dance करके they can take out their energy and then after some time they can be calm and peaceful. Or while sitting at home they can read a lot of stories. We have many stories of purple turtle. There are so many storylines that they can relate to, they will be inspired by, they can learn values from while sitting at home. And also we have our own animated TV series to help them develop social skills. We were talking about bonding, right? So we are also talking about how to help children bond well in a society. So in our animated TV series, we also help children develop social skills. It may take some time for a child to develop social skills, but it is going to happen. So even while sitting at home, they can be inspired by all these TV series and animated content, videos, storybooks, and we can use these stories to help children understand all the important things that they need to learn and all the values.
True.
Sudeshna, I would also like to add that in a COVID situation, in these times, parents can also try out the worksheets. There are 100 pages and very well crafted worksheets with clear instructions, and it really enhances a child's critical thinking, problem solving, and it's also a great way to bond, because you are sitting with your child and it's like you're solving a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, and you're interacting, you're helping them out, and some way it will also exhaust the mind and keep your child active for some period of time.
There is a question from Rubina Admani about a child who pronounces R as L. It's probably lisping, Rubina, but maybe because your child is already 4.5, maybe you consult a speech therapist. There's nothing, the child will probably outgrow it, but if just to put your mind at ease, and take tips from somebody who is more qualified in, because speech therapy is very specialized. So if that helps you, if I were you, maybe I would have done that. Rubina has other questions also about giving her child. Oh no, Shalini Handa says, what if you do everything for the kid but the child is still stubborn? Shalini, how old is your child? Shalini Handa, if you are still with us.
And I think, ma'am, it's also a phase, You may,
Yes, that's why I asked what age.
you may just realize 1 year down the line your child has changed totally.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
So one of our very close hello.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
audible.
Sorry. So one of our very close associates, Tapasya, has asked a question: how to know that what the limit of what resources the children need, or if the resources are spoiling them. So basically, she's asking what is the limit to say yes to the child.
Excellent question. In fact, Tapasya, it's that Juta Hai Ya Light example that I gave. As a parent and as a teacher or a child resource person, to me, it would mean first thing is that very necessary for the child? Something somebody told us, much older person, once we were buying a keyboard for our 3-year-old. Now, those were our dreams, perhaps. So this gentleman who had already parented 2 teenage girls, he said, did your child ask for the keyboard? Is your child remotely interested in the keyboard? And we said, no. So he said, then why are you giving it to your child? So we said, because maybe then, our child will become a musician, whatever. So he said, no, in some things, if your child has not shown any interest, do you need to give that? You can try out. If your child is musical, you will know instinctively. If your child is good in art, then you would know that, yes, this talent needs nurturing. That won't be spoiling. If my child has shown that spark in art and I give a 5-year-old child a canvas to paint on, I don't think that is spoiling. That is nurturing. But if I'm going to give everything under the sun, okay, I want to be a great parent, but I'm being a great materialistic parent. So in your heart of hearts, you will know. Right, Ankita?
Perfect, I think. So we have a lot of parents who've raised their hands.
Ankita ji, I think we should answer this question. Mr. Natarajan, he says his child is 3.4 years old and too young to attend online sessions. I don't think the child is too young. In fact, 3 is the age that your child can. And how to keep the child involved? It is here that interactive sessions come in. The matter that that you're using, the content has to be very interactive. That's when your child is going to be interested and is going to pay attention. So if it's going to be boring, definitely your child won't. And 3.4 is not old, I mean, not too young. Not too young, yes. And definitely he can try some of the demo sessions with Purple Turtle online school.
Classes.
Yeah, and he can book a demo and see how he feels about it.
Yeah, we have a lot of kids who are 3.5, and
He is the ideal age, in fact.
yeah, and they have been with us for a year now, and great progress with the kids. So we have a lot of parents who raise their hands. Let's try one or two questions, and I think we have limited time left, so maybe we can take a couple. So can we allow Nitya Jaiswal to come in and ask her question? We'll have to put her as panelist so that she can ask. Anybody? Yeah. Nitya ji, yes, yes.
Hello, I'm Nitya's mom, Priyanka.
Okay, hi Priyanka.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, the session is really going very well. मतलब बहुत ही कुछ अच्छा सीखने को और सुनने को मिला है मैम से.
Thank you.
तो मैम क्वेश्चन तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. नित्या इज अ वेरी चेयरफुल गर्ल और उसकी डांस मतलब मैं सोचती हूँ कि ये कहाँ से इसके अंदर अब आ गया है. ये डांस करना बहुत चाहती है और शी सो मतलब कि वो दिखाना भी चाहती है. अगर हमारे घर कोई गेस्ट भी आते हैं तो शी वांट्स टू शो कि मम्मा आप गाना लगाओ, मैं डांस दिखाऊंगी. तो कभी कभी मुझे लगता है कि इतना भी जरूरी नहीं है टू शो योर टैलेंट. और शी डज वेल, मतलब अच्छा करती है. तो इस मतलब ये एज अभी इसकी 4 हो गई है. 4 years 5 months होने जा रही है. तो इनको अभी से डांस की तरफ मतलब डालना, मतलब कोई ट्रेनिंग दिलाना या कुछ एज सच, मतलब बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं. तो कितना ठीक है कि स्टडीज की तरफ ही अभी पहले कंसंट्रेट करे, क्योंकि स्कूल तो गई नहीं है. घर में 2 साल से ऑनलाइन पढ़ रही हैं. लेकिन ऑल्दो शी इज डूइंग वेरी वेल. सुनती है, मेरी बच्ची सब सुनती है, मेरी हमारी और अपने पापा की बातें सुनती है. तो ऐसे तो बहुत ही प्लीजेंट चाइल्ड है हमारी. टचवुड.
Wonderful.
कोई इशू नहीं है उसके साथ. लेकिन इसका ये डांस का टैलेंट हम लोग इसको कैसे करें, क्या करें?
You said you are Nitya's mommy, but what's your name? Priyanka. Priyanka, I would love to answer this question क्योंकि मुझे डांस का इतना शौक है. आप अच्छा म्यूजिक बजा दे, अभी मैं इस एज में इधर डांस कर लूंगी. इट इज जस्ट समथिंग इन अस. उसके नाउ माय पेरेंट्स डिडंट लाइक टू डांस मच. कहाँ से आता है ये किसी को पता नहीं. आपका ये था पॉइंट. तो शी हैज इट इन हर. शी इज वेरी हैप्पी डांसिंग. उसको एक चीज, अगर यू आर embarrassed that she keeps dancing in front of others, you can explain to her that okay, I'll play 2 minutes. 2 minutes and then off you go, or whatever. You have your homework, jo bhi hai. So she knows that there is a limit. As far as training is concerned, we were very lucky to go to a school called Children's Little Theatre in Calcutta, where they didn't train us. I've trained in classical dance. I've graduated in Kathak. But that happened only at the age of 8. 8 or 7, I started Bharatnatyam. It didn't suit me because I'm very lazy. वो Bharatnatyam में जो ऐसे bend करना पड़ता है, that didn't suit me. So I gave it up for Kathak. तो 8 के पहले, 7 के पहले, I don't think classical कोई सिखाएगा. But in the long run, do train her in classical because that is the ABCD of dance.
Okay, ma'am.
अभी तो non classical rhymes, वो सब चलेगा.
Yes, मैम अभी तो बॉलीवुड चलता है बहुत.
नहीं, there are a lot of online classes going on.
यस मैम अभी कुछ इसके बारे में सोचा नहीं क्योंकि अभी लगता है कि सिर्फ पढ़ लें थोड़ा सा और ठीक है क्योंकि मैं उसके साथ रेडी
साथ कर सकता है प्रियंका जी दोनों. I used to do, if anybody hears, I know Sudeshna is from Calcutta. We had to study, we had to dance, we had to learn singing. That also Rabindra Sangeet and sometimes classical. I had to learn the piano. Children are wonderful. They're like sponges. वो ले सकते हैं. As long as you realize कि वो खुशी खुशी ले रही है. The moment you realize कि ये उसको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, let her not do that. Don't force anything on.
और मैम रीडिंग के लिए भी यही कर सकते हैं कि जब उसका मन नहीं होता पढ़ने का तो छोड़ देना चाहिए.
Reading के लिए I think we'll have to do that separate session, Patricia. There are so many tips and tricks.
Yes, we should do a separate session on reading and how to get your child to be a good reader.
Sheena says my child doesn't ask for food anytime. Whenever she is hungry, she starts crying or becomes cranky. How old is your child, Sheena Ahuja? Okay, I don't know if she's still online. Ankita, any more questions you want to answer? Anybody else?
I think, but we are short of time now. It's already 6. Sheena ji, yeah, maybe this is the last that we can take. Yeah. Yeah, Sheena, go ahead.
She'll be turning 4 in Feb.
Is this Sheena ji?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
So she's very young. Maybe she hasn't understood what hunger is. You know, she knows that hunger is a horrible thing that is making her cranky. तो जब भूख लगता है वो रो पड़ती है पर वो अभी तक शायद वोकलाइज एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पा रही है कि मामी मुझे भूख लगा है. वो हम एड्स देखते हैं ना कि बच्चे बोलते हैं मामी भूख लगी है. शायद इट इज नॉट सो नेचुरल इन एवरी चाइल्ड. तो मे बी यू विल हैव टू टेल हर अच्छा तुम रो क्यों रही हो. पेट में थोड़ा सा पता नहीं जल रहा है पेट. अच्छा और कैसे लग रहा है कि मुझे कुछ मिले तो अच्छा लगे. क्या खाना. हाँ इस टाइम मैं तुम्हें बुक दूं. नो 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 तो तुम्हें खाना चाहिए. So you have to try and make her recognize what hunger is, that feeling.
Okay.
I think she will understand.
I would like to add something. I think Sheena can try that, way before the child really gets hungry, offer something to eat because hunger also leads to crankiness. So maybe, don't let her come to that stage where she's so hungry. So offer her something that she likes before, that hunger develops.
Excellent answer.
I try to do it, but sometimes, sometimes it gets skipped or when I'm busy somewhere else. At that time, she used to get cranky. And when I ask her, you need something to eat, she said no. She'll say, no, I don't want to eat.
And it's also a phase, I've been through it a few years ago, so I realize it's a phase. After 6 months, your child's habit will change completely.
Okay.
So our administrator, whoever that is, has asked us to take a little more, some questions. So let's.
Sure. There are so many questions.
So many hands have raised. So Mitansh, maybe we can allow Mitansh to come in.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, very wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you. Pleasure having with you all here. Actually, my son is 2.9. He's going to turn 3 in March. Okay. So I am actually also expecting. So I am very much tense. How will I manage with 2 child?
Congratulations.
Thank you. So my biggest question is like, how shall I manage with 2 childs? A newborn, I should give more time, and he's very much bond with me. So I should give him also time.
I think a lot of it will happen instinctively. And the good thing is that you're already giving it a lot of thought. So you will be a conscious parent in that way. And I think Mitansh is your son's name?
Yeah, he's my son.
So Mitansh को अभी से बता दिया that he's going to get a promotion in life?
मैं उसको बोल रही हूँ like मम्मा के टमी में बेबी है. I ask कहाँ है baby, so he touch my tummy. And if his dad also hugs me in front of him, he'll be so conscious. Nahi, she's my mom.
हाँ, she is your mom, पर वो मेरी wife है.
I tell him he's papa, he's this is Mitansh की मम्मी है, but he will be like, I am totally for him.
Okay, let me tell you a story, real life story. ये मेरे जिंदगी में हुआ था. My cousin's son was the naughtiest kid I have ever seen. मतलब एक बार तो मेरे हाथ भी काट दिया था क्योंकि मैं उसको खिला रही थी और खिलाते खिलाते I was talking to his parents. तो उसको मैंने 15 साल बाद मैंने पूछा कि पिंटू तुमने मेरा हाथ क्यों काटा था? He says मुझे याद है बहुत जलन हुई थी. I was dying of jealousy. Why are you giving my parents attention? तो इस बच्चे को we met after about 5-6 years after a gap. You know, from the age of 5, I think we met him at 11. By then, he had a kid sister.
Oh.
And Pintu, we call him Pintu Master. Pintu Master had turned into a lamb. वो बहन को खिला रहे, हमारे लिए वो शरबत ही was making नींबू पानी for us लेके आ रहे. तो कुछ साल बाद मैंने फिर पूछा उससे कि ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कैसे हुआ? शरारती जो करता था वो जानबूझ के पूरा सोच समझ के करता था. Now look at this. He says, but when my baby sister came, my parents told me, अब तो तुम दादा हो. बांग्ला में तो उसको दादा कहते हैं. बड़े तुम्हारा प्रमोशन हो गया, तुम तो रिस्पॉन्सिबल हो गए. हाँ, you are both important to us, but baby क्या सीखेगी जो तुम सिखाओगे?
That's what my question is, how to take him up like he's becoming big brother. So even like I have with the help of Purple Turtle, he started speaking, he's learning things. I was teaching him, but he was not able to talk very much. But once it's just 2 months I have registered, but there is a major change what even I can see with the help of Purple Turtle. So I am very much happy with Purple Turtle, but sidely I also want him to understand that he's going to become big now. How to make him understand that thing?
I don't think you have to force it. You just have to keep reinforcing it rather than forcing it. When you're talking to others also कि अब ना मितांश अभी बड़ा भाई होने वाला है. My God, it's so important. कितना responsible. Wow. So that he gets that wow factor in that relationship and looks forward to the baby. And जो मितांश कहेगा वही तो सुनेगा baby.
Okay, in that way I should bring him up.
He is a role model now. Don't I mean, it shouldn't be a burden on him कि he has to turn into one real boring bade bhai. No.
So yeah, one very important point that I think is a role model shouldn't get a feeling of hierarchy or shouldn't feel that no, he's going to rule the show now or run the show now.
Yes.
So, as a role model, should do the right things rather than just being a big.
Only 50%. Abhi bhi 50% speaking is pending from his side. Means he understands things, but he's not able to talk. He's not even 3 now.
Right.
Now that he started, it's all inside him. I'm sure he'll just come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
We'll have to take another question now. So let's allow Rubina ji to come in.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Pleasure connecting with you.
Which of your questions, Rubina? I've seen several questions now.
Rubina, can you unmute yourself?
how to, Rubina, am I reading this correct? How to overcome the phone habit while eating in a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the question.
Yes, that's a.
So who does she phone?
No, I think she's watching
No,
videos.
watching videos on the phone while eating, the normal.
So
Quite a trend now. A child watches a video and the mother feeds from
yes,
other.
it has probably been started that way to make the child eat more.
Yeah.
Like we used to take the child around and tell her stories and say, "Wo dekho kawa," and my mother would keep telling me, "Ye galat hai. The child should be sitting at the
Yes.
table. Food time is food time." So, but I don't know. I mean, ultimately, that kid was never interested in food. So this went on for years, and then today she's very fond of food in her 30s. So it sorts out. But yes, the phone habit. Maybe you lay down certain rules, Rubina. Ki nobody in this house will look at a device when eating.
Yes, that is
very
appropriate. Yes.
हम भी नहीं. Now
Yes.
to tell a 3-year-old कि पापा के लिए एक रूल है, मम्मी के लिए और एक रूल है, और आपके लिए एक तीसरा रूल है, it's going to be difficult. So easiest is if you don't want her to see any device when she's eating, you also don't watch any device, including television. The child doesn't know the difference between television and a phone or an iPad or whatever, tablet. So no device. जब हम खाना खाएंगे तो हम आपस में बातें करेंगे, etc etc. Bonding, that's bonding time.
In case they still don't listen and they have to watch something, then they can watch Purple Turtle.
Yes.
They will at least learn something while they are watching.
Yes. So rather than just watching August and the Cockroach or something.
रूबीना जी, आपका बच्चा बहुत कुछ सीखेगा और खा भी लेगा साथ में.
Perfect. So I think let's have Shahnawaz come in. Shahnawaz ji, maybe you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah.
मैम एक्चुअली हमारा जो बच्चा शिहाब जो है वो उनका ये है कि उनको अटेंशन खुद चाहिए, मतलब वो सिर्फ अपनी मनवाना चाहते हैं. तो हमारा हेलो.
हाँ, हम सुन रहे हैं.
हाँ, बस उनको मैं और सब मेरे लिए होना चाहिए, मैं. और पढ़ाई माशाल्लाह से उनकी बहुत अच्छी है, लेकिन जब वो पढ़ने बैठते हैं तो उनको अगर आसपास कोई, घर में बहुत सारे लोग हैं, अगर कोई बोल दिया तो वो नहीं चाहिए, चिल्लाना स्टार्ट करते हैं, बहुत तेज चिल्लाते हैं, रोना स्टार्ट करेंगे. तो फिर ये हमारे लिए थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है मैम. तो प्लीज आप बताएं कैसे हम लोग उनको कैसे मैनेज करें.
एक तो firstly I would say we are all in this I, me, myself game. This is सभी के साथ है, किसी के साथ कम है, किसी के साथ ज्यादा. We all want attention. किसको अच्छा नहीं लगता? Now, how old is your child? You said 4 years old?
Ma'am, 5 years old. Yes, ma'am.
It's time to explain certain things. Maybe just talk in a very calm voice. Maybe you take the child out and talk.
Yes, ma'am.
ये नहीं कि talking to the child. No, just chatting or through toys.
Yes, ma'am.
Through toys कि ये बच्चा ऐसे करता है, ये जो टेडी बेयर है ना, ये बहुत चिड़चिड़ करता है. क्यों करता है? ये क्यों नहीं समझता है? I find I have a whole lot of soft toys for storytelling. मैं लेके नहीं जाती हूँ क्योंकि बच्चे ना डिस्ट्रैक्टेड हो जाते हैं, कहानी से ज्यादा वो सॉफ्ट टॉयज खेलते हैं. पर इट्स अ वेरी गुड वे, इट्स अ गुड टूल. अब देखो ना, अंकिता के साथ इतना बड़ा एक पर्पल टर्टल का वो था, दैट्स सच अ क्यूट मैस्कट. तो ऐसे ही कुछ देयर टू इंटरैक्शंस. between two imaginary characters, पर जो हो रहा है वो आपके लाइफ का ही कुछ हो रहा है, वो पूछ के देखना क्या वो समझता है क्या। और ये बदलाव एक दिन में नहीं आएगा, धीरे धीरे। इफ देयर आर अदर कजिन्स, सभी तो पढ़ रहे हैं, whatever, you know, don't despair too much also. Or are you giving too much attention to his tantrums also?
यस मैम, आई विल। मैम, मेरी छोटी बेबी भी है, अगर मैं उनके साथ थोड़ा टाइम ऑब्वियसली मुझे देना पड़ता है, तो वो भी उनको नहीं कि मामा आप उन्हें ज्यादा प्यार करते हो, मुझे नहीं करते हो, पढ़ाते हो तो आप मुझे, वो अगर पढ़े में थोड़ा सा बोल दी कि हाँ चलो, नहीं आपको पढ़ाई करनी है नहीं करनी है, इस पे भी उनको प्रॉब्लम है। तो ये उनके साथ हो रहा है।
Maybe you're giving too much attention to what he's saying. Don't take it so seriously also. Just give him a hug and tell him that you love him and you care for him. You'll always be there for him, just as you will always be there for the other baby. And gradually make him conscious of what he's doing.
Thank you, Shahnawaz ji. Can we bring in Ambika Pandey? Ambika ji, maybe you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Ambika ji, you have to unmute your mic.
Hello, aap.
You can't hear.
Okay. I think let's move on to the next. Prisha Sharma. Acha, Ambika ji aa gayi. Yes, Ambika ji, yeah, go ahead.
Very good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, it is such a wonderful session.
Thank
I'm
you.
learning a lot of things from you, and as well also Purple Turtle.
Thank you, ma'am. Please.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, my question is, my daughter is of 5.4 years old, and she is very much means ki she likes dancing very much. But when I'm trying to teach her ki you should also study, as you are very much liking the dancing, you should also like the study. So how I teach her ki study is more important?
They are both equally important. Why we say, Ambika, why we say studies are more important is because we think of a career.
Yeah.
Firstly.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Look into our insecurities, our fears. मैं ये आंसर कर रही हूँ क्योंकि again I wanted to be a professional dancer. हमारे ज़माने में professional dancer होने का बहुत कम स्कोप था.
Yeah, ma'am.
दुनिया बदल चुका है.
Yes, yes, yes.
तो पर एक चीज है उसको बोलना कि डांस में भी एग्जाम्स देना पड़ता है.
Exactly.
तो पढ़ाई
एक्चुअली मैम, जितना भी अभी जो शोज आते हैं ना, टीवी शोज, वो बहुत ध्यान से देखती है और उसका सारा फोकस डांसिंग पर ही रहता है. बट आई वांट कि आप जैसे डांसिंग में इतना मेहनत कर रहे हो, उसी तरह से अगर आप थोड़ा मेहनत स्टडीज में भी करोगे तो आप बहुत आगे जाओगे. बट शी इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट ऑल. ओनली पोएट्री शी लाइक, but when it's time to writing, she don't like to write anything. Bolne mein she is very much active.
She's an activity oriented child.
Yes, yes, yes. I can say कि she is active oriented child.
She उसमें patience नहीं है क्योंकि लिखने में थोड़ा patience लगता है.
Yes, yes.
तो उसके लिए the only thing to do is to balance her dance time, TV time, watching dance programs. See what Narayan Murthy said, that you are your child's parent.
Yes.
बस ये दो ही parents हैं बच्चों का. तो
yes.
discipline हो, guidance हो, उन्हीं से आएगा. ज्यादा
exactly, भी आई नो. बट मैम, जैसे डिसिप्लिन का बात होता है, अभी मैं अगर उसको कहती हूँ कि अमोली, हर नेम इज अमोली, तो उसे अगर मैं कहती हूँ कि बेटा आपको इस टाइम पर ये काम करना है, इस टाइम पर ये करना है, नो, उसका क्या है कि नहीं मम्मा मुझे अभी डांस करना है तो अभी डांस करना है।
ठीक है, 1 मिनट
ओके
आपका मैंने सुन लिया, 1 मिनट डांस कर लो, पर
ओके
उसके बाद ये करना ही है, और उसके बाद फिर डांस करोगे। आपका ट्राई ड्राइंग अप शेड्यूल एट द, वो क्या कहते हैं वो स्कूल में जो होता है, दैट 9 to 10
टाइम टेबल।
ओके
हाँ, एक टाइम टेबल उसमें यू कैन मार्क डांस विद अ रेड हार्ट, जैज इट अप, पर डांस कैन कम आफ्टर स्टडीज, आफ्टर राइटिंग।
ओके
Perfect. I think thank you Ambika ji, very interesting question. Prisha Sharma ji को allow करें? Yes, Prisha ji is ready.
Hello, ma'am. It's a wonderful session, and thanks to Purple Turtle.
Thank you, Prisha ji. Please ask your question.
Actually, my name is Geeta Dubey. My child name is Prisha Sharma, and she is 4.7 years old. 4.7 years.
Okay.
So, ma'am, मेरा question ये है कि मेरा बच्चा जो है बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है, आई नो, कि जब वो 3.5 की थी तो वो फर्स्ट क्लास का बुक इंग्लिश का रीड कर सकती है, और ये मैंने उसका स्पेशल टैलेंट देखा कि जो कभी मैंने उसे मैंने कभी फोनिक्स पढ़ाना शुरू नहीं किया था एट द एज ऑफ 3, बट वो 3.5 में फर्स्ट क्लास का बुक इजीली पढ़ रही है। मेरे लिए ये बहुत ज्यादा शॉकिंग था, नो डाउट। लेकिन कभी कभी उसकी एक्टिविटीज जो होती है ना, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हाइपर एक्टिव एक्टिविटीज होती है, जिसकी वजह से उसका फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पाता।
ये फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पाता, हैज अ डॉक्टर सेड सो?
नो मैम, एक्चुअली अभी वो 4.7 इयर्स की है, बट उसका जो वेट है सिर्फ 13 kg है। और बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कि मैं उसको पूरे दिन बहुत सारा खाना खिलाती हूँ, नो डाउट वो जो बोलती है मैं वो खिलाती हूँ, बट उसकी एनर्जी जो है ना, वो फुल टाइम एनर्जेटिक रहती है, और कभी भी वो नहीं थकती है, और सोने के लिए सिर्फ जो बीच में 1-2 घंटे का रेस्ट होता है वो लेती है। सो मतलब मुझे लगता है कि जितना मैं खिलाती हूँ उससे ज्यादा वो वर्कआउट करती है। सो मैं क्या करूँ कि उसका वेट बढ़ जाए, और एटलीस्ट कभी कभी क्या होता है कि वो कुछ ऐसी शरारतें करती है, लाइक कभी कभी कुछ सामान उठाने के लिए वो टो वॉकिंग का भी यूज करती है। तो कभी कभी ऐसी चीजें देख के मुझे डर लगता है कि ऐसा तो नहीं है कि उसको लाइक एंजाइटी या कुछ ऐसे इश्यूज हो, उसकी वजह से वो ऐसा करती है और मैं नहीं समझ पा रही हूँ। लेकिन मेंटली डेवलपमेंट बहुत अच्छा है मैम, जैसा कि मैं देखती हूँ, मैं पढ़ाती हूँ, और पर्पल टर्टल की शीट्स भी पोर्टल पे बहुत सारे शीट्स है, लाइक मुझे लगता है मैंने पर्पल टर्टल से ही 350 शीट्स या 300 शीट्स पूरे प्रिंट आउट्स निकलवाए हुए हैं। लाइक आई कैन ड्रॉ का भी, मैथ्स एक्टिविटी, इंग्लिश एक्टिविटी, बहुत सारे शीट्स, तो वो लगभग सारे शीट्स में कराती हूँ उसको, और
Is
वो
it
बहुत
which
इजीली
class
करती है।
and section, Prisha जी?
Yeah.
Sorry, प्रीशा कौन सी क्लास सेक्शन में है?
ये केजी 2 में रिया मैम के सेक्शन में।
ओके, गॉट। यस विनीता जी बताइए।
Now, unless a doctor says there is something wrong, there's nothing wrong. Okay. The thing about weight,
I think she's a super child.
she's just a super energetic child and very talented child. If you think her weight is way below, then get her checked.
मैम एक्चुअली कंसर्न ये है कि मैं डॉक्टर्स के पास जाती हूँ ना कभी भी, तो वो मुझे सिर्फ ये बोलते हैं कि आपका बच्चा अगर एनर्जेटिक है और वो बीमार नहीं पड़ता है तो आपको मेडिसिन क्यों लेना है, मेडिसिन
Absolutely, absolutely.
They are right.
They are absolutely right. Okay, let me tell you, when my daughter was about 9 months old, she was very thin, and so we took her. Everybody used to say, "कुछ नहीं खाती, हाँ तुम्हारी बेटी इतनी पतली है." तो हम ले गए एक pediatrician के पास, and he said, "तुम क्या देते हो?" And we said juice, and he said, "Horrible parents, ignorant, तुम." और पेरेंट्स बस वो सुन के ही तो बस हम खत्म हो गए। तुम जूस पिलाते हो, इसको फ्रूट दिया करो, रफेज होगा एंड ऑल दैट। सो वी सेड वो खाएंगे नहीं, जूस तो समहाउ ठोस देते थे। देन नेक्स्ट डे वी वर सो अपसेट, वी वेंट टू अनदर pediatrician, a lady, and I told her ये कुछ खाती नहीं है। She was teething, She was
Okay.
only eating biscuits.
Okay.
She told me, she heard me very patiently on Dr. Mazumdar. I'll never forget her. And she
Okay.
said, बेबी का वेट छोड़ो, आप खड़े हो जाओ weighing scale पे. On that, I mean, I thought she's making fun of me or what? And I was thin. So I got onto the weighing scales and she said, how old are you? And I said, my age. And she said, and this is your weight. Then she told my husband, how old are you? And look at your weight. He was also thin. And so she said, ये तुम दोनों हो parents. तुम्हें लगता है तुम्हारी बेटी एक, you know, one huge.
Gappu.
Ma'am, I'm not thin now. Ma'am, I'm not thin. My husband is not thin.
I'm just giving you my case.
No, there is nothing to worry. My daughter is 8 years old and she's 19 kgs, and I done the same routine of taking her from one doctor to the other. And सारे doctors ने यही कहा कि अगर बच्चा active है, बीमार नहीं हो रहा, the weight is not an issue.
Yeah, let's trust the doctors. Let's trust the doctors what they are
Trust the doctors. और
Yeah.
आपका बच्चा अगर बीमार नहीं हो रहा है, तो there is nothing to worry.
Nothing to worry about. And this thing of मेरा बच्चा कुछ नहीं खाता है, the same lady asked me, does she pass a stool? I said, yeah, 2-3 times a day or whatever. I can't remember. She said, तो input नहीं होगा तो output कहाँ से हो रहा है? खा तो रही है.
या मैम खा रही है एग्जैक्टली. तो जस्ट ये है कि मेरे को कोई इश्यूज नहीं है उससे. मतलब टीचर्स के साथ भी मुझे काम करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं होती. उसे अगर बोलना है ना, तो रिया मैम या कोई टीचर्स या उसके कोई न्यू टीचर्स भी अगर आते हैं ना, तो वो उनको जब तक अपनी चीजें नहीं सुना लेती है, वो उनका पीछा नहीं छोड़ती है. बहुत सारी अच्छी ऐसी चीजें हैं कि मुझे उसके लिए एफर्ट्स नहीं लगाने पड़ते, वो खुद ही सारी चीजें करती है. बट ऐसी चीजों में मुझे लगता है कि मैं क्या करूं ऐसा कि इसका फिजिकल ग्रोथ
Enjoy our childhood. Just enjoy.
I just have one point. अगर बच्चा कम खा रहा है, तो इंश्योर कि वो जो भी कम खा रहा है वो न्यूट्रिशियस खा रहा है.
Nutritious.
Yes.
क्योंकि a big eater can afford to have a little junk food and a little nutritious food, but a small eater, आपको बहुत you should be very very careful कि she is having a nutrition for the day.
Yeah, ma'am.
Just today, I'll give you an example. My cousin's daughter, they went to the doctor, said कि ये बहुत कम खा रहा है. उन्होंने कहा अगर इसने ज्यादा खाया तो you will come and say कि ये ज्यादा खाता है. पतला है तो दिक्कत है, मोटा है तो दिक्कत है. तो parents to find their ways.
हाँ. As somebody told me, exactly, Ankita, somebody told me you are taking parenting too seriously. तो मेरे को तो बहुत चुभा था वो बात. What do you mean?
और मैम प्लीज मुझे एक क्वेश्चन और करना है कि इंग्लिश रीडिंग इसका जितना अच्छा है उतना ही वीक इसका हिंदी रीडिंग है. और मैं हिंदी पढ़ाने का बहुत कोशिश कर चुकी हूँ, बट ये लाइक हिंदी व्यंजन और स्वर से आगे नहीं जा रही है. लाइक 2 लेटर वर्ड्स 3 लेटर वर्ड्स मैं चाह के भी नहीं पढ़ा पा रही हूँ, क्योंकि होता क्या है, मैं इसे पढ़ाने के लिए बैठाती हूँ और उसके बाद होता ये है कि जस्ट मैं ट्राई करती हूँ और इसका बिल्कुल भी ध्यान होता ही नहीं है, फोकस होता ही नहीं है वहां पे. तो मैं कोशिश भी करती हूँ ना, तो इसे आता ही नहीं है. मतलब मेरे को लगता है कि मैं बहुत ज्यादा फोर्सफुली पढ़ा रही हूँ. तो मैं ऐसा क्या करूँ?
Take up all these reading issues in another.
Note down कर रहे हैं प्रीशा जी.
मैम प्लीज कोई हिंदी का बुक्स प्रोवाइड कराइए जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बुक्स हो.
Package also starting now, so you can join those classes, and it's focused only on Hindi. So I think that problem will be solved.
और हाँ, reading का हम अलग से ले लेंगे. और just remember this yuktakshar and all that is not there in English. It's very easy to read those. Keep the child's point of view also. हो जाएगा.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you.
I think we want to take. Let's take one more, and then we can take the rest in the next session. So that next session में भी तो लोगों को आना है ना?
Yes.
So I can't see the list. Just bring somebody in. श्रावणी जी को अंदर लाएं. Yeah. Yes. Hello. Yeah.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shravani.
Hi, Shravani.
And Revan's mother is in UKG B section.
Awesome.
So actually, I've joined the session maybe 20 to 30 minutes late, but whatever I heard till now was almost everything. I feel that every parent is on the same page. And whatever the answers you're giving is actually very soothing and very, comfortable. What we want, what we expect, the things are the same way. But my question is something out of this. I just have one small issue. I have no complaints with my son. He's very good. The thing is, he always keeps falling down. He always hurts himself. So recently, in the month of August, he fell down. He was just on the floor in the house itself. He was playing in the house and he fell down and he hurt himself. But there was no bleeding and he was unconscious for few seconds. He was in such a bad pain that he was unexpressible, but he was still trying to speak something. And maybe I just gave him the pain like a tablet which I had. But after a few hours, because I'm a it's a nuclear family. We are just three in the house, so I had no chance to go out and taking him out to the doctor. So in the evening, I just took him to the doctor, and the doctor said because there is no bleeding, you don't have to get him scanned. But my question is, sometimes nowadays he's saying that he has headache. So I just want to know if it is should I get him scanned to see like what would be the issue, or is it okay thing?
Shavini, I would, this is just not the forum for us to give a medical opinion like this. I would
Yeah,
really
I know, I
would,
understand.
as a mother figure, I would take a second opinion. Especially since your son has started complaining of headaches, at least to allay your fears. I remember my daughter used to keep getting hit around the eye. I don't know how she did that, black eye and all that. So I used to repeatedly take her to the doctor and he would check. Then I took her for another check, to an eye specialist, because this was troubling me. It still troubles me though. 20 something years down the line, I still worry about it. And but the thing I would advise is go for another opinion with a specialist.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, actually, in the local, like we are from Andhra, so nearby everybody suggested the same doctor actually. Most of the parents or most of my neighbors have said only his name. He's the famous doctor here, so you can just take his suggestions. But yeah, that is what is poking me every time. Like, why
Yes,
should
yes,
I?
and you shouldn't go through this trouble every day, na? Just this
Right.
concern should be removed from your
It's
mind.
more for your mental satisfaction.
Yes.
I'm not sure the doctor is
But
right.
because he's active, actually, he's very active. He never complains for anything. He's good at his studies, and he's very active during his playtime. Everything is correct, and I have no complaints on that.
Just
But
rule
then,
that niggling doubt out of your head with a second opinion.
yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And coming to this purple turtle, actually, we are very satisfied. I don't know, by God's grace, I somehow managed to get this purple turtle coaching classes for my son, and he's very satisfied with it. Thank you very much, Purple.
Thank you so much, Ravni.
I think there
Thank
are
you, ma'am.
many parents
Good
waiting.
evening to everyone.
There, Leela. Good evening.
So I think we'll have to wrap this one, and we can take another session next week and take up.
Admin says 3 more. Admin has Selila, Sanoshi, and Sarita Hota. If quickly within 1 minute.
Bring Salila in.
Yeah, Selila, quickly.
Hello, ma'am. Very good evening. I have a 3.4-year-old kid, and he's very good at everything. But coming to the writing and reading part, he's not showing any interest in that. Even we have provided many things like crayons, colors, books, and many things, but he's not showing much interest in that. And also, he's more addicted to the phone, and which we are not able to reduce watching the phone. But from the phone, he's learning many things more than from us, like oral saying, like numbering also. We have tried number of times to make him learn 1, 2, 3 so many times, but he used to not at all listen to us. But suddenly, while watching the videos, he started saying numbers, alphabets, and even some words which we were shocked that we have tried many times, but he used to not listen to us, but from the phone he have learned. But nowadays he's more addicted to that, and he not even listening to the purple turtle classes also. He wanted something all the things to play while listening to the class also.
Patricia, this is definitely your question.
Firstly, I mean, I'll speak only out of my own experience. I don't have any formal knowledge on this. I think the screen time needs to be reduced. Secondly, are you stressing too much on him? Are you forcing him to write? Sometimes children become really.
No, not at all.
So I think the main thing you could do is, reduce the screen time. It's going to be difficult initially, but then you can reduce screen time by, providing some alternative form of engagement.
Ma'am, but we have tried in many other things, but he's getting angry while we are trying to stop the phone.
See, that will happen.
Becoming very angry, and he's
that
literally
anger is
beating
working.
us.
That will happen initially. That will happen initially when you stop a child from something that he's so used to. But over a period, do not get violent. I think over a period of time, he will slowly and steadily forget about the mobile.
Okay, but he's becoming violent, ma'am, when we are trying to reduce the phone.
See the Narayan Murthy story. Somewhere you have to stop being a friend and start being a parent.
Okay.
So I think the only way is by being little firm, gentle but firm.
Yes.
Okay.
You can say, if you get angry, I can also get angry. I don't want to get angry with you, and I don't want you to see you angry. You don't look good also when you're angry. You got such a lovely smile. Keep smiling. So there are so many ways to explain these things.
Yes, ma'am. But at that moment, he don't listen in whatever we say.
See, you just need to be patient, but be consistent. One day you say, today you will not get the phone, and 5 days later you give him the phone, or 2 days, you're breaking the trend. So the only way is to be very consistent, firm, gentle, and consistent.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Next one. Next is Sanoshi. Quickly,
yes.
In half a minute, if you can please tell us your question, Sanoshi.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. This is Santoshi.
Okay.
Just my kid is, yeah. On seeing all other issues, I feel my son is a mixture of all the things.
Perfect.
There's a problem with all the things. My son name is Manvir, and he's been to LKG in G section. Dipali ma'am is his teacher. I have another kid around 11 months old, and I feel like when I'm pampering the second one, he's being more arrogant. Why you will not lift me, or like that. He's becoming so arrogant, and he's being so angry. I don't know how to handle. And sometimes I used to beat him. I used to scold him. Even I am on seeing his activities, seeing his things. I am myself. I am being so angry on him. I don't know how to control this. And when I am being anger on him, he is going to other persons, like for neighbors, uncle, auntie, and he's telling his problems. Instead of telling his problems to me, he's going to others. I don't know how to handle this. I'm little worried on it.
Patricia, would you like to take this?
And one more thing, one thing I want to ask you. His age is around 3.5 years, because he can identify all the letters and he can say numbers, and he has very good grasping power. If he himself learns, like if he himself concentrate on a thing, within a second or within a minute, he will learn it, and it will be in his mind for a longer time. So I instead of joining him in nursery, I have gone join him in LKG directly. somehow he's staying on the class for a longer time, a whole 1 hour time he's being in the class, but his attention, I feel like he's not being attentive.
So, firstly, I would like to say don't counter anger with anger. So, if your child is angry, your child is a child at the end of the day, and you are an adult. So, you need to be calm and cool. And as I said before, also be firm but be gentle. Uh, Other than that, I think you can provide your child with a lot of games, interactive interactive books. Maybe you can try the talking pen, the graded readers with talking pen. I'm just giving an example, and see if you can engage your child with something. Maybe put him for a class, anything, maybe drawing, or just some skill based class that you can find around or online. And maybe when his energies are diverted elsewhere, the anger component may decrease.
Yeah, exactly. Even I feel the same thing. But his interest is not consistent. Like sometime he will dance. When we start dancing, like we both will dance sometimes. Like
So I would like to pitch in this answer. Ma'am, we are launching this Bright Kids program, which is a 3 months program, and it has around 36 sessions, and it is a compilation of lot of skill-based activities. So it includes reading, writing, dancing, singing. So we have made a compilation of all these activities. It talks about phonics as well. So phonics, pencil control, and name it. So what we are doing is whatever skills that are not taught in the school, that is then taught in that skill program. So maybe we'll share those details with you, and you can think about it, explore it, do a demo, and you might figure out what your child is good at, and then they would like to focus on that specific skill once they grow up. Because this is too little, the child is so small, they really can't figure out what they are good at or make a career out of it. So let them explore, let them take all different classes, learn all kinds of activities. They will be engaged also, their energy will also be consumed in doing something constructive, and you will also explore what the child is good at. So that's one suggestion from my side.
And
Okay.
three is a very tender age. They are confused themselves. So I would only suggest that you be patient, and let time pass. Pay attention, communicate a lot, and I'm sure you will see change. I mean, you need to pay a lot of attention to understand what is aggravating him, what is not, and you
being
communicate.
I have, if I'm having attention only on my elder ones, when I'm going attentive towards elder ones, he is becoming arrogant. I'm not getting time to give more time to this Manvit. I know he is, even I am a lecturer. I know he needs more time for me, but I am not able to give the whole time to him because I have 11 months old baby.
And you're a nuclear family.
Yeah, nuclear family.
See, that is one issue somebody else raised here also.
Yeah, even I heard it. And one more thing is, he is a big question bank. Whatever I do, whatever we show something, he will ask questions.
No, this
You
is
know,
a stage. This is called the question stage.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Even
And it's a natural part of growing up. There is nothing wrong in it.
Wonderful that he's asking. Wonderful. He wants to actually know.
yeah, he wants to know. Like when those types of questions are not able to answer them, when we are unable to answer those questions, literally I'm getting angry. Even I know we have to answer them
No,
patiently, but I'm not getting.
you need not answer every question, but do not counter his questions with anger. You can, you can simply say, "Mummy doesn't know everything, so I don't know this. I'll find out and answer you later."
Okay, yeah.
There's one last name I saw here, Sarita. Sarita Hota.
Yeah, let's bring her in.
Yes, Sarita, quickly, please. Yes, Anish.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Actually,
evening.
I am his thanks father, Dr. Somarandan Pati, and I want to clarify one thing from you. Actually, my son is more inclined towards playing games, although innovative, and he's also more inclined towards television. We have denied him mobile phone and mobile and YouTube, all those kind of stuff. But thing is that towards attending his sessions in the proper tutorial, or else something related to his studies, not watching television in those kind of things like discovery or things. So what we can do from our side so that he'll be more inclined towards study. Playing is good for him, I know, but he could be more inclined towards study or watching something related to his study in case of television, in case of mobile also, if possible.
This is related to Purple Turtle. Would somebody from Aadarsh want to take this up? It's
development at the stages there and
Yeah, somebody wants to brief me on the question again.
So basically, his son is more interested in playing games rather than attending the online.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So,
okay. So,
it's a common
my
problem, I think, yeah.
so
Yes,
two suggestions to this, two practical suggestions. One, what is her class exactly? Which section, which class?
Yeah, but he is in LKG Deepa Masurkar class, and the thing is he loves to study alone at home. Like in one day he needs to complete the whole book. Whatever homework is not given also, he wants to do that, and he loves writing and everything, but not related to like what the teacher is teaching. He don't want to hear that. He if he sees any picture, he create his own story in that, but he don't want to attend any online classes. He says I know everything. The problem is that. Okay. And he has a lot of like stuff. His problem is only with his father. Like if I cook something, it's like that's only for me, not for my father. You can't share it with my father. We can't share one bed with you, me and father. Nothing. He doesn't want to share anything. He want to share everything with me, not with his father. That I want, how can we remove this thing from him?
So sharing part, I think Benita ji or Patricia ji can.
So much, he is hyperactive. Too much hyperactive.
See, this is a classic case. Again, these points have been raised earlier also, I see in the chats. Most of it is the first child or the only child syndrome.
Yeah. And he doesn't like any, if he hears of any baby also, he get like a different, like, I don't want any baby. Rather, I can keep dogs at my home, but I don't want any baby because I don't want to share any toys, anything. If a baby comes, he is going to break my toy. His mind has this thing totally.
So this is going to be a long process for you as I see it. The thing is also to start sharing in other ways. I mean, maybe teach him to share with resources, with plants. Okay, he doesn't want a sibling. So start caring and sharing with others. Also, we had this school thing of charity sharing.
Yeah.
To make all of us knitted one 6x6 square of wool, of course, knitted, and then after our holidays we all got together and put it together, and of course somehow that task came to me and somebody had made it 6.1. So this whole thing of, all right, we get together and stitch it into a blanket, then we line it and we go and give it to the ashram. So this is in an older child, but these things taught us a lot. Look outside. We have to teach our children to look outside of themselves from as young as possible.
No, actually, the sharing part is he has only the problem with his father, not with anyone. Like he shares with his uncle, aunt, with her masi, everyone, but not with father because his father can't sit with me also. His thinking is like that. Means mom is only mine, no one else. His thinking is such.
Maybe look at your interpersonal dealings within the family.
Yeah, actually,
how
I
you
think
are reacting to it. Maybe,
I give a lot of time to him, but as his father is a doctor, he don't get sufficient time to spend with him. I think
Yeah,
maybe
so
that is the
maybe his attachment with his father has to increase so that he gets connected. He feels more connected with his father. Then you tend to share with your friends. You tend to share with your parents. You don't want to share with somebody you are not too close with.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one of the things. Secondly, regarding the education, I will make sure that your teacher pays more attention. Somebody from the admin will take care of that. Other than this, as you said that he's not interested in what's being taught in the class, but is otherwise interested in learning. So I
Yeah.
will also suggest you to take a look at talking books or the activity books because that's something that he will engage in quickly. And the bright kids course because that is where we are only talking about skills and there are only activities involved. There's no learning in the sense of we are not teaching them English, math, science, Hindi. We are teaching them skills. So that's a more interesting program for a child like that. And his energy will also be consumed in something constructive. So that's something that is good to explore, and somebody from our team will connect with you.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't have any problem with Deepa because she concentrate on him also. But
Yeah,
the thing,
she must be, yes.
yeah, but the thing is, he don't want to attend online class. He want to study like I can complete the whole book. Now I will sit, I'll do coloring, I'll do everything. But he doesn't want to be in online classes. The thing is that.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe he needs more interesting classes. He doesn't want to study, but more of activity classes he might like. Like we can start from there and then eventually push him towards online classes because that's the safest option for now for children. So no backing out from there. So thank you so much, Sarita ji, and I'm sure this was a. I think this was one of the longest session that I've done in a webinar and the most interactive one. And we'll make sure that we keep coming in every week so that all the questions, queries, we've also understood which should be the next topic of discussion. So I would just like to thank all the participants, all the panelists who've invested so much time. They were supposed to invest 1 hour. They've already invested 2 hours with us. And any other queries you have, I've already put in the mobile number, the email ID. Please feel free to connect with us.
Yes.
Most of the parents over here have already enrolled with us for the online preschool. You can also enroll with us for the Hindi program because I've heard a lot of parents having trouble learning Hindi and the child is unable to speak or write Hindi. So we are coming up with the Hindi program as well as the Bright Kids program, which is a skill-based program for preschoolers, where we are teaching them all sorts of activities and focusing on more skills. So reading, writing, pencil control, phonics, dancing, singing. So basically an activity-based program, which is a 3-month program. So happy to take up any queries. Please put in a message and we have your contacts. You've registered with us. We'll connect with you. And we will connect with you next week with more questions, more answers, and more tips. Thank you so much, Benita ji, Patricia ji, Sudeshna.
Thank you.
Happy to connect with all the parents. And see you all next week. Bye-bye from Purple Turtle.
Thank you so much for having us over.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.